Hello everyone and welcome to the first Battlefront challenge video. Today's challenge is cards only, which means we can no longer use our primary blaster. As you can see here, I'm choosing the cards which I'm going to use, which I think will fit best for this challenge. So I've gone with the scout pistol, cycle rifle, and I've also put the shield on just in case I get into a little bit of trouble. I need to get out of there. Now this was incredibly difficult to start off with. Trying to do this challenge at first was the most difficult thing I ever attempted in this game, because not only have you got just two cards to use which have a cooldown time. One of those cards has got 2 bullets and the other has a single bullet. So the scout pistol has 2 bullets and you've got to make sure they both hit if you want to get the kill at close range. It's no good at long range, absolutely do not bother. If you want to get a long range kill, jump over to the cycle rifle and hope you get a headshot, because one shot with the cycle rifle is not going to deal massive enough damage to take down an enemy unless he's already injured or you're at very close range. It's only going to take him down in one then, or unless you get a headshot. But if you're lucky, most of the time the enemy players will be injured, you can take them down. But as I said, this was incredibly difficult to get the footage at first. It took me a long while to get used to running around with the cards, getting in, getting a few kills, activate my shield and get straight back out of there just to make sure I stay alive. Now, the shield also comes in handy for another thing, which I realised after playing for a long time, is that if you use both your cards, you took down 2 kills with those cards, which is really successful, that's great. Then, if you get into trouble, you're still in the face of the enemy, then you can use this shield to your advantage. You can whack on the shield, get up close and personal with these guys, and you can just whack them. You can just hit them melee until they're dead. So you might be able to get a few extra kills that way, providing there's not a whole bunch of enemies else that just completely take you down. But yeah, it took me the longest time to get this footage for you guys to see, and in the end I finally got used to it, and it became really fun. It became really fun after I got used to how things work. But it was really difficult, and it's still difficult to try and stay alive throughout a game, throughout a whole match. If you're trying to stay alive, you go in YOLO, you keep in one life. It's incredibly difficult, so you've got to be really careful with how you manage your cards. So since we've been speaking about cards, let's take a look at the cooldown time for each of the cards we're using, that being the scout pistol, the cycle rifle, and the personal shield, whatever you want to call it. So as you start off with these cards, each one of these can be upgraded, but we're going to start off with the stats on the cards that aren't upgraded. So the scout pistol is going to take you 9 seconds to recover from once you've fired it, and the cycle rifle itself is going to take you 15 seconds, which is a massively long time. Especially if you're in a firefight, you don't have the time to mess around, you don't have the time to wait 15 seconds or 9 seconds. You've got to get in there, make a decision on what you're going to do, and then get yourself out of there before you get killed. So now let's take a look at those cards upgraded, which thankfully is a lot better. If we take a look at the scout pistol now, it's going to take you only 6 seconds to recharge. As you'll probably notice throughout the game, it's probably one of the main cards that I'm using. It's probably the one that I'm using the most. It's best for when I'm running into people and I've got to pull something out quick and dispatch an enemy. And the cycle rifle is then going to take 10 seconds, so it's 5 seconds less. 10 seconds, it's still quite a long time. You don't have that time to mess around when you're in a confrontation, but 10 seconds is a lot better than 15, and because it's a lot better at long range kills and it's got that power behind it, you can expect it to have a longer cooldown time. You're going to notice me do something really naughty here. I missed both my shots with the cards and I decided to get rid of this guy with a blaster. So I didn't think my teammate would have made it in time to save me from him, and I just didn't want to die. I was on a kill streak, I didn't want him to kill me. You probably noticed earlier on as well, I got rid of someone just using one shot from the main blaster. But these things happen. When you panic, you just naturally pull out the blaster. So right here is one of my favourite moments from all the footage that I recorded. We're playing Blast, and because of the map that we're on, the enemy spawn is on the other side of these tunnels. So you can see me here, I'm just trying to keep control of these tunnels. They've got an infantry turret right there, so I've got to be very careful. But somehow I managed to keep on top of the cooldown time for both of the cards that I'm using. I don't know what that guy was doing. He was just kind of standing there, staring at me. Maybe he was in love with me, I don't know. But I chase this guy down, I give him a whack, and then I get on my way straight back to the tunnel. As you can see, the game's nearly over, so I want to get as many kills as I can before it ends. Somehow I managed to keep control of it. I stopped them coming out, swarming me, and I managed to get a really good streak on this map. As we come up to the final parts of the gameplay in this video, I think it'd be a great time to look at the stats for each of the cards we're using. That way we can see what makes them just so great to use. If you look at the screen here, we've got the stats for the scout pistol, and as you can see, it does a pretty solid 70 points of damage. keeping in mind that this thing has 2 shots. When you pull that trigger, it fires out 2 shots. So providing you hit both of those shots, it's going to be an instant kill. If you run up to an enemy, you're confronted by an enemy, you pull out the scout pistol, and you hit both shots, it's an instant kill. He's not coming back. As it comes down to about 10 meters range, the damage is going to start to drop, and it significantly drops too. This thing is going to pretty much become useless after, say, 30 meters. That's providing an enemy is already injured, you hit both shots, and you want to kill him. After that, it's probably just a no-go. Now let's take a look at the stats for the Cycle Rifle. This thing is like the big brother of the Scout Pistol. As you can see, it does a maximum damage of 100. And this damage starts to drop as it hits 10 meters. It's got a minimum damage of 90, which is probably where I found a lot of problems using this weapon. Now, there's probably some points in this video that you've noticed where I'll be running, I turn a corner and I'm faced with an enemy, point blank range, and I'll fire this thing off. If I don't get a good hit on him, I'm not going to kill him. If I don't hit him in the right place, he's not going to go down. And by that time, it's already too late for me to switch out to another gun or another card and finish him off, because he would have realised what I'm doing and he would have took me down before I could even think about finishing him off. If I had one bit of advice before the end of this video, it would be that you should try out the other cards. I mean, I know it's really hard to get rid of that jump pack and try to not use the jump pack. It's like the most useful and coolest thing there is to use. But you'd be surprised as to what other combinations of cards actually work. I mean, this was difficult at first, but it really worked out for me towards the end. I was getting really good kill streaks with these cards, and I was not expecting that to happen. So, yeah, just try out the other cards and see what really works for you guys. You may be surprised at what combinations you actually find work really well together. So that's going to be it from me today, everybody. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this, please do give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And if you've got any cool ideas for challenges just like this one that you'd like to see me take on, then you know where to post it down in the comments below. I'll check them out and I'll have a go at those. Can't wait to see what you guys recommend for me. And until the next one, guys, have a good one, and I'll see you later.